Substance abuse is the excessive use of psychoactive drugs such as alcohol, pain medications, or illegal drugs. It can lead to physical, social, or emotional harm and has been terrorizing those under its grasp and their loved ones. This persistent disease has been going on for more than 50 years. This issue is so prevalent that it doesn't just impact the country on a state level, but rather on a national level.
The issue of mental health and substance use was already a growing concern in this country before the COVID-19 pandemic. But the isolation, the school closure, the economic anxiety, and challenges to obtaining childcare have only exacerbated these already existing problems and created new barriers to treatment.
This begs the question, how has substance abuse affected those around you and the ones you talk to on a daily basis?
I've developed friendships with a number of people who are in recovery in various stages. You know, some of them are extremely successful individuals who are fairly progressed in the recovery. And of course, when you're dealing with an addiction issue, you know, you're always in recovery. It's never something that ends.
I'm Jeff Breedlove. I'm a person in long-term recovery, so it's impacted me personally. Substance use disorder for me was a 30-year life of active addiction. So I should be dead by rights, and I'm fortunate and blessed to still be alive.
Some effects of substance abuse include addiction, depression, hallucination, and infectious diseases.
In Johns Creek High, a girl died as a result of the usage of marijuana with several other people. This incident struck the lives of many of those in close association to this young lady.
The addiction starts long before they actually get to drugs. We found out that eating the non-nutritious meals lowers their resistance.
Teens and young adults are most at risk of substance abuse. Half of all new drug users are under 18. 1/5 of high schoolers have abused prescription drugs. 1/3 currently use alcohol. 23% use marijuana. What has been done to help people with substance abuse and mental health issues? How has the block grant changed people's lives?
Just like every disease, there is a cure. But sometimes a cure may not be effective or can even make the problem worse. There is also a cure for substance abuse and mental health, that is the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Block Grant. These block grants aim to improve those affected and their loved ones. But does it really change people's lives for the better or for the worse?
To begin, this issue has been tackled through the introduction of several services due to the block grant. For example, there has been an increase in mental health recovery training services for civilians with severe mental health problems. Should the government take further action in pursuit of these services, and why? In an era where these issues continue to expand at an alarming rate, our governments from federal to state level need to ensure that necessary services are being pushed out for this common welfare. It should be noted that regardless of party affiliation, ideology, or moral, action should be taken to some extent regardless of their methods on how to resolve this issue. Providing more opportunity after trauma and constructing greener spaces for those in need of fresh air are great options to mediate an individual's recovery.
No one really gives a darn unless it strikes home. And it seems like once again, just as women were and blacks were, the mentally ill are totally second-class citizens in our society. I don't see any change coming.
Seen on a chart from the American Psychology Association depicted on the screen right here, the number of people who have received mental health services has increased significantly. Though it may be said that some particular ethnic groups receive care more than others, a significant trend has raised in all races.
But I do feel that there is a place for government. We have to keep in mind that there are individuals out there who need mental health resources, but simply do not have the financial ability to tap into the type of support that many of us can.
Congress, the White House, state legislators, and local governments all must act with more funding that is embraced by peers that will sustain long-term recovery.
How would the different political parties respond to the block grant?
Based on a recent poll conducted by the American Psychiatric Association, American civilians of both primary party affiliations show strong support for mental health coverage. Though there are some different responses to this issue, what can be said is that there is a response provided that aids the mentally ill.
And we know that it's an issue that as much as they argue on so many other things, that there's a group of Democrats and a group of Republicans coming together. But we need more because that stigma is still there.
When it comes to issues like mental health and addiction, I think it's less about political parties identifying or understanding needs. I think it comes down to basic humanity.
Some say that the block grants have a negative effect on communities, claiming that they spend too much of taxpayers' money. This is simply not the case. SAMHSA, an organization founded to combat drug abuse and for mental health, reported that their 2021 budget was about $10 billion. While $10 billion seems like a big number, it is a laughable amount compared to other programs using taxpayers' dollars. Others believe that the block grants have a minimal effect on mental health and drug abuse. This is also not the case. Here's a graph that shows the percentage of people who experience mental health and drug abuse after treatment. As you can see, only 13.2% of people who undergo treatment still have their problem. Therefore, drug abuse and mental health services can have a tremendous impact on individuals and communities.
With that said, mental health, drug, and substance abuse remains to be an issue that deserves prioritization. For many, it has continued to consume their valuable and cherishable lives. For many, those who associate with these consumed individuals struggle with their daily lives as well, as the thoughts of their loved ones torment their jobs, hobbies, and even rest. The block grant has provided several opportunities to those in need, distributing more reform than ever. The funding granted has boosted the welfare of the mentally ill and substance abusers. Though it may be said that spending on this topic may be controversial nowadays, what isn't controversial is the fact that this issue is settled by both major parties, regardless of their ideology or policies. With these block grants, we could together strive for a better future, not just for us, but also for our children.